At first, this did not feel like a tragic story. It felt like rescue. A boy with no purpose, a girl who was never allowed to be human, and a world that taught them both the same lie. You only matter if you're useful. Hiro learned that lesson early. In this world, children were raised not to live, but to fight. They were not given families, dreams, or futures. They were trained to pilot giant machines, to protect a dying civilization from monsters that crawled out of the earth. If you could pilot, you mattered. If you couldn't, you disappeared. Hiro used to be special. He was once called a prodigy, a boy with synchronization levels so high that adults whispered about his potential. They believed he would be a hero, but talent is fragile. One failure was all it took. One failed test, one moment where his body refused to respond, one silent judgment from the people who raised him like livestock. And just like that, Hiro became useless. No one shouted. No one punished him. They simply stopped looking at him. That kind of rejection doesn't scream. It settles in quietly and stays. Hiro began to believe that something inside him was broken, that whatever made him human had already failed its purpose. And in this world, a broken thing had only one future: erasure. That was the night he met her, 02. She did not appear like a miracle. She appeared like a warning. Her horns marked her as something other. Her red eyes watched him not with curiosity, but hunger. She smiled the way predators smile, playful, knowing, dangerous. And yet, she was the first person in a long time who looked at Hiro like he existed. She called him darling. The word was intimate, possessive, unsettling, and Hiro felt something stir inside him. Not fear, not love, but recognition. 02 was feared by everyone else. She was known as the partner killer. Pilots who rode with her didn't last. One by one, they were drained, discarded, replaced. To the system, she was a weapon that consumed people. To Hiro, she felt like someone who understood loneliness too well. When she chose him, it didn't feel romantic. It felt like survival. Their first battle together was violent, chaotic, overwhelming. Hiro's body screamed as the machine demanded more than it should. His vision blurred, his heartbeat thundered like it might tear him apart. And yet, for the first time since his fall, Hiro felt alive. 02 laughed. She thrived in the chaos. She leaned into the danger like it was the only place she belonged. When the battle ended, she looked at him with surprise, not because he survived, but because he stayed. Most pilots couldn't. That was when the bond began to form. Not love, not yet. Dependency. Hiro began to associate pain with purpose, exhaustion with worth. If being with 02 meant he mattered again, then he would accept whatever it cost him. And 02 noticed. She always noticed. She teased him, touched him, drew him closer emotionally, while keeping herself just out of reach. Every smile felt like a reward. Every moment of distance felt like punishment. This wasn't accidental. 02 had been searching for something far longer than Hiro had. She was not fully human, not fully monster. Created, experimented on, isolated, taught that love was a transaction, something to extract, not share. She believed that if she could become human, she would finally be worthy of love. And Hiro felt like a step toward that dream. But dreams built on obsession do not stay gentle. As Hiro continued piloting with her, changes began to appear. Small at first, strange marks on his skin, a lingering ache in his chest, dreams filled with red skies and blood-stained fields. Zero Two watched these changes with fascination and something darker. She told him stories of her past, but never all of it. She spoke of a darling she once lost, someone who promised to stay with her forever. Hiro didn't realize it then, but he was being measured against a memory, and memories are cruel competitors. The more Hiro gave, the more Zero Two demanded. Not openly. She never forced him. She simply made it clear that if he wanted to stay special, he had to keep up. Hiro began isolating himself from the others. Friends became distractions. Concern became irritation. Why couldn't they understand? He was useful again. He was needed. And Zero Two made sure he believed that only she needed him. That was the first real fracture, not in Hiro's body, but in his identity. He stopped asking whether this was healthy. He stopped noticing how often he was afraid. He stopped seeing how Zero Two's affection sharpened whenever he proved his loyalty through suffering. Love, when twisted by fear, becomes a cage you thank your captor for. The adults watched all of this with cold interest. They did not intervene. To them, Hiro and Zero Two were not lovers. They were data and experiment. If he broke, he could be replaced. If she killed him, it would confirm their theories. No one planned to save him. And Zero Two did not know how. Because beneath her playful cruelty was a child who believed that love meant consuming the other person completely. Before they could leave, by the time Hiro began to realize something was wrong, he was already too deep. He was changing, and so was the meaning of the word darling. Something inside Hiro began to shift, not all at once. Not dramatically, it crept in slowly, the way rot spreads beneath paint, unseen, until the structure starts to collapse. He started waking up exhausted even after sleeping. His hands sometimes trembled without reason. When he looked at his reflection, there were moments where he didn't recognize the boy staring back. And always, Zero Two was there, smiling, watching, waiting. She began calling him darling more softly now, less playful, more intimate. The word wrapped around him like a promise and a warning at the same time. But Hiro noticed something else. Whenever he pulled away, even slightly when he spoke to others, when he questioned her intensity, her affection cooled instantly. Not anger, not sadness, withdrawal. And that frightened him more than any outburst could have. So Hiro adapted. He stayed closer, listened harder, gave more. Every boundary he once had dissolved quietly, because maintaining them risked losing the only person who made him feel alive. Zero Two never asked him to abandon everyone else. She didn't need to. She made him want to. Piloting together grew more intense. The battles were no longer just physical. They were intimate in ways Hiro couldn't explain. He felt her emotions bleeding into his own. Her hunger, her longing, her rage. And in return, she fed on his devotion. Hiro didn't realize he was being hollowed out, not until the others noticed before he did. They told him he looked different, that he seemed distant, that piloting with Zero Two was destroying him. But their concerns sounded like jealousy to his ears. They didn't understand what it meant to be chosen, what it meant to finally matter. Zero Two made sure of that. She spoke more often about the past, now fragments of memories soaked in pain. About being locked away, experimented on, treated like something dangerous instead of something loved. Each story tightened the knot inside Hiro's chest. How could he leave someone who had suffered like that? How could he abandon her the way everyone else had? And that was the moment love crossed into obligation. Zero Two began testing him, not directly, never openly, but through subtle challenges. She pushed herself harder in battle, forcing Hiro to compensate. She withheld warmth after fights, watching to see how desperately he would seek her approval. She spoke of her first darling with reverence, just enough to make Hiro feel replaceable. Every time he passed these tests, she rewarded him. A smile, a touch, a whisper meant only for him. This was not affection. It was conditioning. Hiro's body began to change more visibly now. The marks deepened. His synchronization levels rose unnaturally high. Doctors whispered behind glass walls. The adults took notes. They were pleased because Hiro was no longer just a pilot. He was becoming something else, and Zero Two knew it. She watched his transformation with conflicted eyes. Fear tangled with desire. The closer he became to her, the more she believed this was destiny. Proof that love required sacrifice. Proof that she could finally stop being alone. But beneath that belief was terror. Because if Hiro truly became like her, what would that mean? Would he still love her? Or would he hate her for what she had turned him into? That fear made her cling tighter. An obsession does not loosen its grip, it tightens it. The breaking point came quietly. Hiro collapsed after a mission, not dramatically. No blood, no screams, just sudden weakness. His body giving up under strain it could no longer endure. Zero Two stood over him as medics rushed in. For the first time, she did not smile. Something raw surfaced on her face. Panic, sharp and ugly. Because for the first time, the possibility became real. She could lose him, not because he left. Not because he failed her, but because she consumed him. The adult solution was simple. Separate them, not out of mercy, out of efficiency. Hiro was reassigned. Zero Two was restrained. And in that separation, the truth finally emerged. Without Zero Two, Hiro felt empty, not relieved, not safe, not free. Hollow, he couldn't focus, couldn't pilot properly, couldn't feel like himself. His identity had fused so completely with her presence that without it, he felt like a ghost inside his own body. This wasn't love anymore. It was dependency. And Zero Two reacted badly. She lashed out, became violent. Her battles turned brutal, uncontrolled. Anyone assigned to her was discarded without hesitation. The system labeled her unstable, dangerous, disposable. Hiro saw what they were doing, and something inside him snapped. He realized the truth too late. They were never meant to survive together. They were meant to burn brightly and then be erased. But love, once it reaches obsession, does not accept extinction quietly. Hiro made his choice, not because it was right, not because it was healthy, but because life without Zero Two no longer felt like life at all. When they reunited, it was not tender, it was desperate. They clung to each other like drowning people, ignoring the cracks spreading beneath them. Zero Two pressed her forehead to his, whispering that they belonged together, no matter the cost. And Hiro believed her, because believing her was easier than facing what loving her had done to him. But this was the point of no return, because now their bond was no longer sustaining them, it was devouring them. And the world around them was beginning to notice. By the time Hiro realized what he had become, it was already too late to turn back. The mirror no longer showed a boy trying to survive in a broken system. It showed someone altered, not just physically, but fundamentally. His body responded differently now. His instincts were sharper, more violent. His emotions came in extremes: devotion or emptiness, longing or rage. And at the center of it all stood Zero Two. She was no longer just the girl he loved. She was the axis his entire existence revolved around. Every mission they flew together felt less like piloting and more like fusion. Their thoughts blurred, their pain synchronized. When she felt anger, Hiro felt it spike through his spine. When he felt fear, she tasted it like electricity. They were no longer two people fighting side by side. They were becoming a single will, and that terrified everyone watching. The adults warned him again. They used calm voices, clinical language, charts, and projections. They explained that the synchronization levels were unsustainable, that Hiro's humanity was eroding, that Zero Two's influence was accelerating the process. They spoke of loss of self, but Hiro only heard one thing. They wanted to take her away, so he stopped listening. Zero Two noticed the change immediately, not just in how fiercely he defended her, but in how willingly he crossed lines now. He questioned authority, disobeyed orders, put himself between her and anyone who tried to interfere. And Zero Two smiled. Not because she was happy, but because she felt safe. For the first time in her life, someone was choosing her without hesitation, even when it meant destruction. That realization unlocked something dangerous inside her. She stopped holding back. The battles grew more violent. She pushed their unit past limits meant to keep pilots alive. She fed Hiro's need to matter, whispering that only he could keep up with her. Only he could survive beside her. And Hiro believed it, because believing it meant he wasn't being destroyed for nothing. But love rooted in obsession does not stabilize. It escalates. Soon, Hiro stopped distinguishing between protecting Zero Two and erasing threats. Anyone who questioned her became an enemy. Anyone who stood between them became expendable. And Zero Two let it happen. Not because she wanted blood, but because she was terrified of losing him. The irony was cruel. The more she tried to keep him, the faster she was killing him. The breaking point came during a mission that should have been routine. Something went wrong. A synchronization spike beyond anything recorded. Warning, alarms screamed. The system tried to shut them down. Hiro felt his consciousness slipping. Fragments of memory tearing loose. His childhood, his name, his sense of where he ended. And Zero Two began. He heard her voice, panicked now. Not teasing, not playful, afraid. Darling, stop. You're disappearing. And in that moment, Hiro understood. This wasn't about saving the world. This wasn't even about saving her. It was about whether he was willing to erase himself completely just to stay with her. And the most terrifying part, he hesitated. Because the thought of losing her hurt more than the thought of losing himself. That was the final truth. Love had not saved them. It had hollowed them out and reshaped them into something that could no longer exist peacefully. The system intervened. They tried to separate them by force. Zero Two screamed. Not in rage, but in terror. Hiro fought back with strength that no longer felt human. The unit went berserk. Energy tore through the battlefield like a wound in reality itself. And in that chaos, Hiro made a choice. Not to survive, not to escape, but to end it. He reached for Zero Two, mentally, emotionally, completely, and instead of clinging, he let go. Not of her, of himself. He accepted what he had become, accepted that loving her meant annihilation. And if annihilation was the only way they could exist together, then so be it. The final synchronization was absolute. No barriers, no limits, no return. For a brief, terrifying moment, they felt everything, every shared memory, every wound, every moment of longing and fear braided together into a single consciousness. Zero Two finally understood. She had wanted love so badly that she turned it into a weapon. And Hiro had loved her so deeply that he let himself be consumed by it. The explosion that followed was not loud. It was silent, a void, where something living had burned itself out. When the dust settled, there was no victory, no celebration, only absence. The world continued, repaired and rebuilt, but something irreplaceable was gone. Two people who loved each other beyond reason, beyond safety, beyond survival, not because they were cursed, but because love, without boundaries, does not stop at devotion. It keeps going until there is nothing left. This wasn't a love story meant to comfort you. It was meant to warn you, because sometimes the most dangerous romances aren't built on hatred. They're built on love that refuses to let go. If this story stayed with you, if it disturbed you, if it made you feel something you can't quite name, that's the point. Subscribe for more anime love stories where romance and horror collide. And tell me in the comments, would you let love destroy you if it meant never being alone?